just like to sleep one.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So thanks for coming out. We're having a physique seminar today at Infinity Fitness, iflansing.com. I was expecting a lot more people. I'm really happy you're here, but being out of school, I forgot that because the term's over, everybody's gone. But this is still a good turnout. We're going to do this again next month. I want to present your panel to you. These guys here represent the very best in men's physique in the state of Michigan, and we also have some physique champions in the audience. So what's going to happen is each competitor is going to get up for about 5 minutes. They're going to introduce themselves, tell you about their contest prep, their contest history, whatever they want to share. And then after that, after those 20 minutes, we're going to have an open Q&A. You can ask any questions you want about nutrition, supplementation, training, whatever you want, and they'll answer for you as best as they can. You can ask one of them or all of them collectively, and they'll share their knowledge with you. So we'll start with Mr. Michigan, and then go down.
All right, guys. My name's Dustin Holman. Obviously, I won the Mr. Michigan and also Mr. Grand Rapids. I've done 2 national shows so far. I did the junior nationals. I placed 6th there, and Atlanta, I placed 8th was my last show. I got into physique because a friend of mine, he did it last year, and I used to do bodybuilding shows. He told me about the physique division, and I saw his pictures, and I was like, I can do that. I did the whole bodybuilding thing, and kind of wanted to make the transition to physique because with my body type, I'm taller, and I wasn't big enough to do bodybuilding, so I decided to try physique and did really well at it. As far as like my whole contest prep, I usually diet for about 12 to 16 weeks out before a show. Off season, I'm carrying about right around 225 for my weight, and then for show time, I'm usually about 195 when I step on the stage. What else?
I'm Colin Wang. My contest history, I competed at the Central States in 2011 and got 2nd, which qualified me for nationals where I competed at Junior USAs. And also did the muscle and fitness at the Olympia, male model search, placed top 20 in both. And right now, future plans, I'm going into natural bodybuilding, but with physique, I have been on the national level, so I do have experience with it and posing and general idea of what they're looking at. It's more of like a mainstream type look they're looking for, one that like someone can be inspired to, the general public, general audience, being like, oh, I can look like that with a few years of training, hard work, dieting. With the contest prep, I typically, for men's physique, 12 weeks, 12 to 14 weeks. And I typically tend to recommend everybody doing like tapering their carbs off and slowly decreasing their caloric diet so that you can slowly come down into show, so you don't trash your metabolism, which is the #1 thing. A lot of people, when they first diet, they're going to drop their carbs down to almost 0 and trash their metabolism, wondering why they stalled on weight loss, why they have to increase their cardio, why can't they lose those few couple pounds, and I mean, that's one of the big things, and that's it.
My name's Kyle Fulis. Competition history, Grand Rapids in 2011, Mr. Grand Rapids took the overall. Western Michigan took the overall 2012 to re-qualify just for national shows this year. Did the Lansing with Dustin and Cedric over there, took my class there. As far as show prep, just kind of a lower carb kind of diet, kind of what he was touching on, just dropping the carbs down, a little bit at a time. And then just essentially on workouts, basic kind of like Tabata cardio, low impact cardio. Workouts are a little heavier training till the end. I lightened it up for the toning factor. So.
Alright guys, I'm Winston Tsai, men's physique competitor. Basically I started, how I got into men's physique is I've always liked being healthy. I was always active, and I just started progressing, and I saw a couple friends. Actually, Colin, he kind of got me into, like, yeah, you should do a show. You have the physique for it, and as I went into that, I did the John Simmons Powerhouse Classic, which was back in March this year. That was a national qualifier at second overall, and when I qualified for there, I wanted an off season to bulk up, get a little bit bigger, and then I did nationals in Atlanta. And as for future plans, plan on competing maybe in the Simmons Powerhouse Classic again. This coming up March. I got to requalify for nationals, and then competing in Chicago. As for my contest prep, like they said, I like to do 8 to 12 weeks. I've done 8 weeks before, but I found out that was a little bit too harsh, like Colin said, caused some metabolic damage. If you rush into your cuts, you have for dieting process, you'll lose too much muscle mass, you can get flat. So I'll probably give myself 12 weeks this time. Pretty much it.
If before we jump into the Q&A though, because I was expecting you guys to go a little longer, but I have a couple quick questions for you. A lot of times when you think of physique, you guys think of sort of beach body, model body, very mainstream body, which is great because that's why the division got started. But some of these guys actually can move some pretty big amount of weight. Winston can, I've seen him squat, what, 405?
Yeah, 4 or 5 reps.
And he weighs like how much?
Right
You're
now,
weighing, what, like 160 when you did it?
Yeah, 160.
I've seen Colin pull, how much do you pull deadlift?
620.
620. Colin also has some insane calves that you can see on YouTube. Insane. And then Dustin is actually, I think, as big as you can get for physique without, getting into bodybuilding. So if you guys could actually, if you guys don't really know the difference, I still don't know, I think a lot of people don't know, if you maybe could touch on the difference between physique and bodybuilding, because it is a fine line, but if you could explain it in each of your opinion. And then we'll do the Q&A.
I think with physique, from what I've talked to the judges on, they're looking for more of a V-taper, beach body look. They don't want you super shredded, but they you don't want to come in flat either. So like with bodybuilding, obviously you want to be really striated, but they just told me the biggest thing is to have that V-taper. They want a small waist and just come in like like you would see somebody on the cover of a magazine, like beach body look is what they go for. And then the biggest thing too is confidence on stage. You go out, when you walk out there, you want to look directly at the judges and don't worry about what's going on in the crowd. When I walk out there, my eyes are in the judges the whole time and making eye contact with them because I want them looking just at me, not at anybody else on stage. So.
I was also going to say another thing too is for those of you who don't know, some of you may already know, but in men's physique, we put on trunks or board shorts, and then in bodybuilding, you're imposing trunks. So unfortunately, they don't show our quads in men's physique. That's something I personally wish they would change. It's made me also think maybe going to the more muscle model look, where they do have trunks is another division. But
and yes, physique competitors do train legs.
Yeah. Like I tell some of the guys I'm helping prep for shows this year is they're a little on the bigger side for a local show. A local show can be a little bigger. They might dock you for it, but you come into a national show, and some of the guys have some good size that are putting up good placings in shows. So you got to keep that in mind, not get discouraged if you think you're too big or whatnot. So.
They're not really, they don't have a set standard yet. They have like a general idea of what they're looking for men's physique. They're looking for that V-taper, like Dustin said, broad shoulders, small waist, but not too freaky. Like some people have very, very broad shoulders and very, very tiny waists, and that's reminiscent of bodybuilding. They don't want too lean, but like lean enough so that I would say like to the point where you can't really see much jiggle in your upper body. So everything's very tight, everything's very kind of has that saran wrap type look. Everything's really dry and it looks good. It's not too freaky, too vascular. Things that would freak out the general public. Just the normal looking, you look good, beach body type look, slightly leaner, and that's kind of what they're going for. I'd actually, for anybody to go on stage and compete, it doesn't matter. It's like a goal type thing. You can compete at local shows. Just make sure you get out there. Maybe you you get hooked, and then you might do very well at like the national level, but you'll never know unless you try.
Yeah, I've gotten told in the local shows by judges that I was too big in some of the local shows, but they told me to go and do the national qualifying shows because I'm going to actually be up against guys who are my size. And that's what they're looking for. If you want to go to the national level, then you do need size. If you just want to stick at the local level, then you can stay a little bit smaller. But at the national level, you have to have that size. Not overly big, but you do need size.
It's always good to have a nice muscle belly, tone to your arms, nice full muscle. And like Dustin was saying earlier, stage presence comes along with just being confident, more so competing with yourself, trying to bring in a better package that you have, previous shows, not worrying about anybody else, just about what you got to work on. That will kind of help with your stage presence on stage. You got to be confident, smiling all the time, keeping tight. So
that's a big thing, is the smiling part. And it's kind of weird because you're sort of, even if you're backstage or you're in the line and they're doing their call outs and everything, you have to look presentable and happy all the time. And then you don't really notice because you sometimes get in your head and you start thinking about stuff and you kind of lose that focus. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to smile. And you have to keep smiling, you got to keep looking at the judges and making sure that they know you're out there and that you have good stage presence.
So if any of you guys want to open up to Q&A now, a lot of people want to know, about dieting and carbs and fat, cardio. Now's the time.
Not touching on any of those, the nutrition aspect, but I'm not terribly familiar with how long Physique is. How long has it been around?
2-3 years.
Yeah, 2-3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, they haven't actually came up with Olympia yet. They're having talks right now that it might come out this year, but it's brand new. They don't even know what they're looking for with something like bodybuilding. Has been there since like forever. Like it's
Right.
been there for a long time. It's been through it's the extremes. Where men's physique is not extreme. Just like if you ever look at the IFBB bikini division, it's like a middle ground. Like you want to come in tight but not too tight, and that's where it's kind of, you have to hit a balance.
Sure. Generally, new divisions, they'll take, me and Colin have talked to other pros, and they think that new divisions take about 3 years to really come into their own and really find a set standard of what they want. Because you'll see guys on the West Coast and East Coast at different men's physique competitions placing completely differently, and you'll think, yeah, like based on what you think, wow, that guy should have got first over that guy.
Right.
So really, it's really, men's physique is really subjective at this point. There's not like a really base guideline, whereas bodybuilding, it's more cut and dry. It's like, okay, that guy at any competition, he's going to get first over that guy. Whereas men's physique, it's not as cut and dry.
So do you see, I can't recall what the name of it was, but the one year this past summer at Lansing Center, I attended that
we were there.
show. And I noticed that there was a lot more physique competitors, so I mean, do you think that's going to have a positive spin on the sport of I guess, bodybuilding and physique? I mean,
At the national level, there have been more physique competitors than bodybuilding.
yeah, that's kind of what I noticed in the show too. So
Physique's
that's good for the sport, I guess.
Physique's going to
It's going
attract,
to take over the bodybuilding aspect of it, or
I don't think it'll take
you know what
over.
I mean?
but it's going to attract more of a mainstream audience. Not everybody's into that huge bodybuilding look. It's going to attract into the bodybuilding world more of a mainstream audience.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that. A lot of people, you'd be surprised how many people don't know even anything about bodybuilding. So then if we can attract more people, just have their attention on the sport, they might then see bodybuilding, and it might, they might be into bodybuilding from that. So, I mean, I think us bringing more exposure, or men's physique bringing more exposure to bodybuilding, I believe is a positive thing.